right. I do believe that we are live. If I could kindly have somebody say in chat whether I am or not, that would be quite nice, because it has been some time since I was last live, and therefore I have forgotten how to do quite literally everything. One of the most annoying things about going live again after quite a substantial hiatus is the fact that OBS just immediately starts to scream at you whenever you try and do things. Hello, everyone. Hello, nice to see you. Oh, good. Oh, good. It seems like there's a tiny bit of lag with the Stream Elements. Stream Elements is not working properly at the moment. It's not showing up my OBS chat, which is quite irritating. It might make my responses just a tiny bit slow. I do apologize. Hello, Wolfen Rings, Salamandra, Magdalenus Rex, Danny D, Vale, Zuli, and then Salamandra again. Hello. Definite lag. Yeah, I do have it on low latency instead of ultra low latency, by the way. So that could be why it's just a tiny bit laggy. I just didn't want to risk it at the moment. I think before we start, yeah, it's saying a few dropped frames, but not too much, not too bad overall. Yeah, I think we're perfectly fine. It has been quite some time, gentlemen. The most predictable failure to date. I remember us calling this during the announcement. It very much was, and I feel that it's worth saying just from the very start of this stream, because some people kind of misunderstood what I was doing with this stream, which is why I kind of changed the title a bit as well in the end, that I'm not here to complain about the talents that joined Nexus. I'm not going to, absolutely none of this video, with maybe one or two tiny exceptions, because I know there were a few, like, weird, flaky people in Nexus. I mean, it's a group of, like, 60 or 70 streamers. There's going to be a couple of crazy people. It's statistically impossible to have that many VTubers and not have at least one of them be crazy. But yeah, I have heard nothing negative about any of the talents in Nexus, aside from, like, one or two forum posts about weird things they did. So I have no problem whatsoever with any of them. Like, my mission of this stream and any subsequent video that I make about Nexus is not to trash on any of the talents that joined. You know, in fact, like, I want to make it clear that I seriously considered joining Nexus because I was like, you know what, this does not seem to be a good idea at all. However, it's funny, if stuff like V-Reverie, if AN Project and Kawaii had already been dead by the time Nexus became a thing, I would definitely have tried to join Nexus for the simple reason that those three companies, when they died, all had options for the talents to acquire their IPs after separation. And I would have used that as an argument with the group to say, if they wanted to shut down, hey, look, you know what, I want my IP. There's precedent in the industry, so I want this. And to their credit, okay, like, Nexus is not 100% in the wrong here, although they are objectively a terrible agency. They did not try and steal people's IPs, which I think, honestly, from everything that I've seen, probably belonged more to the talents than the agency right from the very start. But, like, we'll get into that. We will very much get into that. Magdalenus Rex, I've been taking a break from watching much holostream. Been to disengage from watching VTubing and instead watching non-VTuber stuff and studying for exams. I have been... illegitimate children don't. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I'm not entirely sure how the word forever translates to getting illegitimate children. So, if you could explain that, aquatic invertebrate, I'd appreciate it. Where was I? Yeah, basically, yeah, no shade to any of the talents that are actually in Nexus, or rather, are now... Instead, this stream is going to be pretty much entirely about the bad business decisions and, frankly, irresponsible and ridiculous ways that Nexus was run because even from a very surface level analysis and engagement, it just doesn't work. It really, really does not work. Wolf and Wings, is it just my stream struggling? Buffering was bad just now. I'm not sure. It's like not doing brilliantly on my end, but it's not horribly destroying itself either. Of course I'm being beeped immediately. Why does this always happen? Just close down Steam, rather. Probably not have that active as well. Aquatic invertebrate. The I shouldn't stick my dick in there, however, meme. Oh, I see. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm very bad at memes. I am very, very bad at memes. But before we get anywhere, I just want to say that I apologize for not having streamed much recently. There have been several reasons for it, and I feel like I owe you guys an explanation before I get into anything else, is that a lot of you that are on the forums are aware of my housing issues at the moment, and the last update that I posted basically said there's no immediate danger of us getting thrown out or anything, and now I am 100% certain that for until probably 2026 at the earliest, there's no real danger of this becoming a thing any longer, simply because of how the court system works. But it has been very stressful in real life because I've had to deal with our landlords packing up and moving out of their house, which is very close to ours. And, yeah, they haven't been particularly nice about it, and I am now extremely happy that they are gone from the shores of this fair country and shall never be returning. They are currently somewhere probably over the Atlantic, heading towards California, and if they ever come back, I will be completely amazed. Yeah, it's been a very kind of stressful time, not so much for me, but definitely for my dear and beloved parents that I've had to support through all of this. And I also went and got myself a job. I'm currently gardening at the moment, almost, I wouldn't say full-time, but I'm doing it pretty much every hour that the weather is not a howling gale or pouring rain, because yeah, I have just kind of wanted to get back into physical activity for quite some time. One of my courses recently finished that I'm on, and not too far away from my house. The thing about Ireland is that the rich Irish people still very much have a not particularly sophisticated mentality when it comes to the ownership of land and the functionality of their gardens. That's about as politely as I can put it. Impolitely, they like to build giant concrete boxes with lots of windows and then leave about 2 acres worth of filthy, polluted scrubland around them. And there is one such house fairly close by my own, and we pass it by on a very regular basis. And I've always thought, this place is about 2 acres of pretty prime real estate, but it's one good house, and then it's just a filthy wasteland. It's a filthy rubble and crap-strewn wasteland. Because they like to build extensions. They've built multiple extensions onto it, and every time they've had work done on the place, they've basically just chucked all the rubbish and the rubble and the garbage into the fields. But I did know there was a fairly artistic person living there. They're just very busy, because obviously a big house like that, it costs quite a lot. When I say filthy and polluted, I don't necessarily mean polluted as in chemicals or anything. I mean just garbage, like random plastic crap stuff that has been grown through and over. Like, if you imagine a solid waste dump that has been left for about 15 years to have brambles and thorns and thistles and weeds and gorse bushes growing up through it, that's basically a large extent of the garden, a pretty large extent of it. Anyway, as I was saying, there's a very artistic woman who lives there, and I decided to just head up one day, because I know that she greatly respects our own ability to garden and govern our space. And so I just went up to her one day and I said, hey, you need a garden and I need a job. And she was like, this is correct, sir. I do indeed want a gardener. And you are also in need of a job. I was like, yes, we have agreed that this is, in fact, a equitable transaction for both of us. Would you like me to be your gardener? And she was like, you know what? Yeah, that sounds fine. When can you start? And I said, yeah, tomorrow. Okay. And that's how I got a job. And I've been up there about as much as I possibly can in the last 4 weeks or so, which unfortunately has been less time than I wanted to because of how much the weather has been terrible. But yeah, I am very happy with the work that I've done. I'm most irritated because, obviously, I can't post pictures of it because it would be incredibly easy for some insane autist to just start scrolling through Google Photographs and finding exactly our locations for that. But yeah, that's really irritating to me because I can't post any pictures of the work that I've done because I have already managed to clear out quite large sections of this place. Sorry, just having a drink of water. What is it with British people and gardening in general? An Englishman's home is his castle, good sir, and that was one of the things that the English are very proud of. Like, my parents were both professional gardeners for many, many years, and I didn't get into gardening until about 2 years ago. But as soon as I got a grips with it, I'm pretty much hooked. I really enjoy it. Just today, I got up at 10:30 a.m., I just grabbed my tablet, I walked outside, I walked down the road to this place, I started to pull out weeds, and before I knew it, 6 hours later, I was still working, and the only reason that I stopped working was because it got dark, and I could not persuade the sun to stay in the sky for my sake. If the sun had not gone down, I would probably have been out there till like 7 or 8 at least. So yeah, it was a very enjoyable experience, and I really, really hope the weather stays good throughout the rest of the year. I mean, it's December, and then it's January, February, it's literally winter, so I doubt that I'm going to get a vast amount of days done, but it's basically whenever I want to. I'm paid by the hour, and yeah. I am very, very happy with that situation. It's good practical experience. It is a fantastic way to up your vitamin D level. Oh, hello, Neo NP. I have not seen you around before. Good to see you. Thank you for joining the asylum. Colin, for nobody's that autistic in this community. I learned the hard way. Well, not so much me, fortunately. It was a completely harmless incident. But I remember there was some VTuber that posted some pictures of their location. And I just asked my community quite innocently, hey, you know, these images are completely shrouded in fog. There's like maybe 1 or 2 buildings visible. It'll probably take you like 3 weeks. And she said that she doesn't care. So, you know, I'm just curious if anybody can find this place. And within 5 minutes, somebody had found the exact place. Not only had they found the exact place, they were able to identify the exact building she was taking the photograph from, the exact floor, and down to about 5 or 10 rooms within a 5 or 10 room space of the hotel that she was taking the photograph from within 5 to 10 minutes. And that was when I decided, yeah, I am never posting a single picture of myself or any work that I do in public anywhere online, so long as I am the owner of the virtual asylum. It is actually genuinely quite amusing to me that I've been to... hello, Suzu, as well. Howdy, Proctor. Hope you're well, my dude. Yeah, I'm decent. I'm actually a lot better now than I have been for quite some time, because, just to quickly recap, the last few weeks, my landlords have been in the process of moving out, and yeah, they still very much want us to move out as well, and we're not going anywhere. And they have not made it pleasant for us in any way at all, but they are now in California, and good luck to them. LOL reminds me of Shia LaBeouf, Shia LeBlown the F out. Shadowgale, if his flag, yeah, that was a hilarious thing. I do remember that, but I mean, to see it in action, it just makes you question things. Like, a lot of VTubers have this idea that doxing is always malicious. Like, no, I genuinely and sincerely believe that from all that I've been exposed to, there are literally just people out there that want to do it purely for the fun of it and purely for the challenge, from the most tiniest insignificant details. Now, you can say that that's still malicious, but to me, maliciousness has to involve a desire to cause harm in the process, but I really do think there's a lot of people that just enjoy doing it for the sake of it and have no intention of causing harm or anything like that. They just do it because they find it fun, and I can respect that. So like me, I want to know things. I know a whole ton of stuff about this industry that I could use maliciously, but I'm never going to because I don't care. I don't want to. I wonder if Shia will do it again. I have no idea what Shia is doing nowadays. It will be very interesting. That's actually a fairly good point. I wonder if I should look at KF to see if he's reacted in any way to Trump's re-election. Here, give me just 1 second. Where have I put my water? There's my old water bottle. I wonder where the hell it was. See, this is the thing. This is the thing, chat. Is that if you tell people they're not supposed to know something, they're going to be curious. Absolutely, 100%. I think that the whole the harder you the harder you try and keep somebody from something, the more they're going to be curious about it. Magdalena's Rex. There is a British friend I had on Discord post that her campus was snowy. A few months later, she posted another photograph that didn't have any names, but took the awards, unicolors, and weather. But I took the awards, unicolors, and weather that day to determine she was in the University of Nottingham. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's basically the responsibility of the streamer to make sure that information is censored. And, like, if I ever accidentally posted a photograph on the internet, I mean, I literally have. I've posted 1 or 2 photographs to people that I trust. And I would be extremely upset if those people ever leaked those photographs, but I wouldn't do something like try and DMCA them or go on a tirade about how my privacy was violated, because my attitude is the moment that information has hit the airwaves, I no longer have control over it, and I don't have the right to complain that something I exercise zero physical control over is used in a way that I don't want to. I can express some level of moral irritation and possibly even outrage at the consequences, but I don't have the right to say, oh no, that information should never have been shared. Like, no, data wants to be free. Everything wants to be free. But anyway, with that tirade over, I am going to just quickly see if I can find that blasted water bottle that I brought in. Please give me 1 moment. Did I put it all the way back over here? Please tell me I actually brought it out with me. It was literally right here 5 seconds ago. Are you absolutely joking? Did I seriously pick it up and put it down outside my shed? Chuck, give me a second, please. Give me a second. You're getting treated to the full surround sound experience here. Yep, that's literally what I did. That's literally what I did. I put it down by my shed door, and then I forgot to pick it back up again as I walked into the shed and closed the door behind me. That's where my water bottle went. Much better. Oh, I apologize for that. That was a bit of a tangent. I did not intend to. So that's the thing. I'm so terrible at this. Every time I take a break from streaming, it's like all the knowledge of how to stream and how to prepare for streaming just goes straight out of my head. It's like how if I don't play a game for more than like 6 months, all of my knowledge of how to play that game like leaks out of my brain, and I have to learn everything again from scratch. It's very, very awkward. Let me just actually go to my other chat so that I can catch up with some of the messages that I missed. Icarus Windrune. Yeah, hence why I don't put any photos up anywhere. Also why any social media account I have is private. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. Shadowgale VT. Yeah, I'll admit I'm paranoid of revealing too much info. For context, I was doxxed over being in a top PvP guild in a now dead MMORPG. Shadowgale. In that context, I don't think you are paranoid about not wanting to reveal too much. Somebody on the forum commented just a little while ago the difference in how children used to be and how children are today. That it's astonishing how quickly you can get, say, a child or a teenager to reveal important personal information on the internet. You can literally just ask them for their real name. You can ask them for their address or pictures of themselves, and in a lot of cases, they will just give them to you without a second thought, because they have been trained by nature to have things, like for example on Discord, have your Twitch chat on Discord, have your social media programs on Discord, have them all linked together, have your Facebook on Discord. Like, what's the problem with that? You want to be known, don't you? You want to make it easy for people to find you, don't you? Whereas, when I was given access to the internet by my father, who is a computer engineer by trade, he told me, do not use your real name anywhere, do not tell people anything more than maybe that you're English, and that possibly, if you really trust them, that you live in Ireland. That's it. Don't tell them anything else. Bored saying, hey kid, do you want to get in the van? I don't have any candy. That's the thing. I don't understand it. There's an article that I read on stream a couple of months ago, I think, which talked about how the newer generations are actually significantly more vulnerable to scams than their grandparents are. And what are we teaching our children, guys? Now you can bait kids with Fortnite skins. Yeah, as Shadowgale VT just said, I am absolutely not. If I ever have children, and I intend to, definitely children with big fluffy tails, if you catch my drift, I am never going to let them near the internet without intensive supervision. Icarus Windrune, as an O2er, also was taught that, hence why I avoided a YouTube account until 2022. Vale, which is utterly fascinating, but at the same time not terribly surprising. Mindless Rex, weird, must be a younger Zoomer thing. I'm an older Zoomer, and that idea of showing too much IRL information is incomprehensible. Computer Lab taught me that when I was 5. Yeah. It's just the standard. I mean, there's a minimum of a 2 or 3 hour tangent on that, which I will not get into, because otherwise this will just turn into a just chatting stream. Icarus Windrune, that is why my brother 20 plays Roblox with my sister who is 17 to make sure she doesn't reveal stuff. He's been doing it for years. That's 3 years. Yeah, that's just a 3-year time difference. Should I get LVT? Yeah, my dad didn't let me on his PC with his supervision, and he had so many locks on it. I got on that thing for 3 reasons: StarCraft, The Sims, and school research. Yeah, I enjoy having people in my chat that are a similar age to me, because I'm 33. And the world that I remember is so vastly different from the world that young people today have. And the thing is, my parents would say the same thing about my generation, and it's so weird to me. So weird. But anyway, I'm getting overly reminiscent and nostalgic, so I will actually try and move on to the actual subject of the stream. Allow me to just put on a studio mode for 1 second to make sure that everything is working, and it is in fact working. Excellent. And before we do anything, let me just no, I can't see that actually. No, it would only show me a moderator as well, so it wouldn't be the main thing. No, but I don't actually, I'm unable to actually tell who had the information that was edited into the OP of this thread. However, whoever did put the effort into reporting the thread and having new information added to it, I'm very grateful to you. I didn't even notice this was a thing but somebody went to that effort, and I'm very, very grateful. Thank you very much. You made my job infinitely easier. And this is exactly what I want to see a lot more of in my community, is that right here, because this right here was all that I originally put in the OP. But my dear members went through and they added all of this. I'm extremely grateful to them. Thank you so much. And this is something that in the future, I'm going to be making some changes to the forum before the end of 2024. Originally, they were going to be like late November time, but I actually decided that it's better to be more towards the end of 2024, because then it'll be a much smoother transition into a 2025, which I'm really hopeful for. Pardon me. There will also be at least one more stream in 2024, which will be just an end-of-year ramble-a-thon, pretty much, to recap the events of the year in some format and to talk about my hopes, dreams, and expectations for the glorious year of our Lord 2025. Hopefully Armageddon will come this year, but sadly, my prayers have not been answered. Icarus Windrune, hopefully 2025 is not still a part of the ride that never ends. But that's the point of the ride that never ends. It never ends. Like, you might have missed the joke there. Also, let me mute myself for 1 second while I blow my nose. There we go, that feels a little better. But for those that are unaware, as you can tell by the thread date, this was on March the 19th, 2024. I believe that Nexus predated this by a short period of time, but we were fairly on the ball when this company first popped up. And so yeah, sometime in March, or basically early 2024, Nexus first made its presence known, and almost instantaneously, members of my forum started to point out how weird and strange this whole thing was, and I very quickly just put together a basic set of facts about what they were and what they were trying to do, and I stuck it up on our beloved laundry room where we analyze weird companies. And I think there's going to be a few more entries into that list in 2025, according apparently. Given that we have not yet reached, I would say, peak small corpo angst in the VTuber sphere, although we are pretty close, I would say. Now, most VTuber companies, when they launch, I believe that Stellaverse Productions has 8 talents in its initial generation. That's a very, very large initial generation. I think there's no other company that I can really think of that had a larger first generation than Stellaverse Productions, apart from Nexus. Because, as you can see down here in point 2, they intended to launch right from the start with 40 talents all at once. That's not 4, that's not 14, that's 40 talents. Which immediately raises a tremendous amount of questions. Because let's assume, for the sake of argument, that you need to spend $2,000 at the low end on each of these talents to get them functional. So $2,000 will buy you a somewhat okay model and rig. It will be passable at the very least. It might also buy you some assets and a few details, assuming you already have some level of streaming equipment. That is too much, way too much. Almost sounds like Harry wanted an AKB-48. Can you tell me what AKB stands for? I am terminally awful with all kinds of acronyms. But yeah, if we just punch in the numbers, 40 times 2,000, you get and again, this is a low-end estimate. I would guess that he had to pay more than that for some, maybe a little bit less for others. But yeah, you're looking at an initial investment of $80,000 just for the talents alone, for nothing else whatsoever. That's a lot. AKB48's an idol group. Oh, I see. Sorry, I wasn't aware of that. I assumed that AKB was an acronym for something, not that it was just a literal title. So yeah, we're already looking at $80,000 for initial baseline costs just for talents. So there's some pretty serious money going on here. Also, if you've got 40 talents, you would need hundreds and hundreds of applications. I know that Variance Project got over 1,000 applications, and they're just looking for 4 or 5 talents. So the logistical overhead of getting and assigning 40 different talents is enormous. I am guessing that they had a very... there are only 2 ways this could go. Either they had very few staff, and they cut corners wherever they could, or they spent even more money on some amount of staff that were able to sift through and grade the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions, and then paired up the appropriate talents with the appropriate model. Those are the 2 main options. Now, I think that option 1 is the more likely option, because, yeah, Nexus and competency are 2 words that do not go together particularly well. And the weirdness starts right away. When this popped up, the 40 talent thing was the first thing that had people calling scammer. There were other indications that this was a scam. Colin474, this is assuming it was an actual meritocracy and they didn't just pick the first 40 applications that arrived. That would be impossible. I know a little bit about VTuber auditions by now. The overwhelming number of VTuber auditions are completely unsalvageable. They are like shaky cam, unregistered hypercam 2 level of bad. Like people recording on their phones in very bad conditions that clearly do not have either the skill or the knowledge of how to stream properly. Like, I would say that VTubing is 1 level above regular streaming in terms of difficulty overall. Regular streaming is not difficult, but VTubing does have a certain skill floor to it. Just a small one, but there is a skill floor. And you are definitely not going to get the first 40 applicants all be worthy of a model right away. Like, that would be absolute and total suicide. And as terrible as Nexus is, I do think they at least gave it a go. So I am willing to give them this. I don't believe they would do something that insane, okay? Because that would be completely insane. Anyway, let's move over, and I do apologize, there is no dark mode for this website. There is no dark mode at all. Icarus Windrune sounds about right. I've seen brand new VTubers that definitely stand out shaky. I mean, just to give you an idea of what the online hiring space is like, I was once part of a company that advertised for a creative talent for a position, and within 24 hours we had 500 applications. Of those applications, 3 people made it to the second round, to the first round of interviews, because the rest was borderline unreadable, incomprehensible spam. And this was years and years before generative AI, by the way. This was years before you could just ask ChatGPT to go, hey, make me a fake CCV or whatever. And it was even years before, like, the total absorption and metastasization of Indian talent spam across the internet, where, you know, you had like Indian diploma mills like creating professionals out of thin air that could barely speak English and didn't wash their hands after taking a piss all over your floor. Like, that level of terrible. that has completely poisoned all hiring standards and practices since then. That was still bad, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was. But yeah, 500 applications in just a few days, and 3 of them were even worth a second look. So yeah, this was going to be a complete hell on earth. I do have my desktop audio turned on, and this is a... Is this a... No, it's not a... Oh. This is a 40-second video. I will let you just view it. What the heck are these more videos? I don't even know. They always confuse me. Let me just check the volume. This is the story of how you become the world's greatest VTuber. So, let's talk about red flags, gentlemen. We are at 4 seconds into this video. It is already sounding like a scam. How you become the world's greatest VTuber. This is just absolutely terrible marketing right at the start. Is VTA similar to TVA? What do you mean VTA? Virtual Talent Academia? No? No, we are definitely... I mean, in fairness, if you gave... Look, if you took all of Nexus's funding and you used it to buy models for the people in TVA and just randomly gave, like, the top posters in TVA VTuber models, I think you'd roughly get the same level of success rate that Nexus got. So, you know what, in that respect, maybe we are just a tiny bit similar to VTA. But yeah, I'm glad that people can already see the problems here. Hello, B-Ray G23. Yeah, corpo level marketing scam. Yeah, this is not the kind of thing that you say when you're a starting agency. Definitely not. Let's continue. I do like the music. The music is quite cute. So what's the quality level of this? Is that literally all it is? Oh, I suppose there is... No, that doesn't... Wait a second. Let me just look at this. Okay, so that's 1080p. Sorry, my autism is triggering me at the moment. I'll just turn off the audio because this is just a visual thing. Okay, so now I'm on HD 1080p. Look at... I only have a 1080p monitor, by the way. I am a monitor pleb. I don't have like a 4K monitor or anything, but like, look at this. Look at how pixelated this is. Look at how low quality and pixelated this video is. You can actually see the video artifacting around every single one of that's not my stream turning this into something it isn't. It's really, really weird. And that's 1080p. Does it even change in the slightest if I go down to 740? To 720? No, it's the same image. Like, so their in opening animation for their entire company is only 1080p, and there's no difference between 1080p and 720. To be fair, that looks like YouTube's compression. It's defaulted to their AVC codec by the look of it. True, but, I mean, again, considering that this is a dedicated website and this is a 40-second video, I mean, as somebody who actually has a web host, who is a web host, who has a server, who is on some level a site master or whatever the hell you call it, how I would do this is that I would just upload the video directly to my server, and then I would host it on a native player on my site so that you could play in full quality. It's just such a basic, simple thing that immediately sets off red flags. You don't want... A QR department should be fired for something like this. Sorry, QA. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice this. if you want to play a drinking game, take a shot every time there is a spelling mistake during this website, this website presentation. And let me just note that, yeah, you can see the URL. Like, this is Nexus Live. So this is not an archived page of the site. This is what the Nexus site looks like after nearly a full year of operation. These mistakes were there from day one. At no point in the last year did anyone go to the HTML file for this webpage and just put a space here. Or anywhere else. Proctor, what are your predictions for HoloLive and Phase Connect in 2025? Will they come out and be the end of it, the least respectable, or go through what Nietzsche and Idle faced in 2024? Ask me again at my end of year stream. I don't feel like that's something that I should even comment on, considering that, you know, I quite like people like Pipkin Pippa, and I don't want Phase Connect to fail, obviously. I don't want companies to fail. Like, as much as it would be potentially fun content to go over, I don't want Sakuna to be revealed as, like, a corrupt CEO who scams people and, like, was secretly bankrupt the whole time, or that, you know, Pipkin Pippa was 3 mole rats in a trench coat, or something else that would be completely company destroying. I don't want those things to happen, okay? Like, people call me a drama tuber sometimes, but I don't want there to be drama in the VTuber industry. I would much rather help people to fix their issues than just be a parasite and go, some idiot messed up again, oh. I don't want that. I want people to be happy with their jobs and lead happy, productive, fulfilling lives. Icarus Windrune, as long as the Hina situation is handled well, I don't think Phase Connect will have any downward spiral. I mean, Phase Connect has a remarkably good track record when it comes to retaining its talents, so let's hope it all goes through well. Right, anyway, let's move on with this before I get massively distracted again. I've talked about myself, 4 creators, and the vision behind Nexus in a previous blog, so if you're interested, please read it here. This time, I want to address a frequently asked question. What does Nexus equals Virtual Talent Academia mean in detail? The English teacher in me is screaming very loudly and aggressively. 4 creators isn't a typo, by the way, it's a company. Okay, alright. If that's the case, well, put it this way, it's not going to be, even if that is not a mistake, yeah, there's others. There are other pretty interesting ones. Table of contents, current analysis, which is not how... This isn't how a table of contents works. I suppose it kind of is. Again, the layout of this is so bizarre. It's so bizarre. So, I'm going to stick on this for a fair while because I have a lot of my thoughts on this. Current analysis. The EN VTuber market is at a turning point. I would broadly agree, but I wish I knew what he meant by a turning point. The existing VTuber agency model is becoming unsustainable. I will credit Harry with this. He was dead spot. This right here is absolute solid truth. Since then, since March, we've had, what, 3, 4 large-scale failures in the VTuber industry. I forget, was March? Yeah, I've completely forgotten. Was the Selene drama in 2023 or 2024? I can't even remember. But yeah, you know what? Harry was correct here. The existing VTuber agency model is most definitely unsustainable. We've had Aeon Project, we've had V-Reverie, we've had Kawaii, we've had... God, I can't even remember how many. We've had so many really public failures of VTuber agencies. 2024, are you joking? It's been less than a year? It has been less than a year since the Selene drama? It feels like 2 years at least. Started in 2023, ended in 2024. Okay, like was she terminated in 2024? That's my question, because that for me is when the Selene. Yeah, it was the end of January, began in February. Thank you. Thank you. So anyway, now we come to his answers, where the problems, les problemos, they begin. Winning on a new platform. That's where AnyLive comes in, and we'll get to AnyLive. Update the agency model. We're going to get into that in a minute. And this is very. I will not scroll down. Look here. If you do not know, if you've never been on this website before, this is a real treat. I'm not scrolling down from this big pink table for a reason. You'll see why in a second. The EN VTuber market is at a turning point right now. I believe that content platforms such as YouTube and Instagram repeat that. Why Instagram? What does Instagram have to do with VTubers? Very roughly, when a platform is created, it follows the following growth cycle. 1. A superstar is born to represent the platform. 2. Many firms see these stars and enter the market looking for business opportunities. 3. Mass production of individual talents who do not belong to a firm and small to medium-sized firms that cannot scale. I dispute his first point a little bit, but 2 and 3, these are true. There's no denying this. This is true. I would not consider this to be amazing business insight. This is pretty basic business 101 kind of stuff. 4. Platforms will become saturated. This part is true. And people will move on to the next platform. Now, chat. I am genuinely curious. I know that YouTube doesn't give you much text to work with, but what's the problem here? What is the failure of logic here? I would like at least 1 or 2 people to comment on it. Iquus in room. Instagram Reels for live streaming, I guess. My mother watches Reels live streams for buying Hermes purses used and on sale. Yeah, that's a very woman thing. Instagram is not a place that I have any knowledge or experience in whatsoever. But yeah, Harry is an interesting guy. Let me have a sip of my water. Guildmage Troy, nice to see you, by the way. I don't think you've posted it tonight yet. There are decades when years happen and years when decades happen. We've just begun to move from the boomer media paradigm, so things are moving very quickly as we try to figure things out. I do agree. Vale, why try and establish a platform if you think people are just going to move on from it? That's a good point. That's a good point. Salamandra, few people move problems. Guildbench Troy, new platforms have shit mobile support. Icarus Windrone, even if you establish a platform, where is the user base for it? These are all pretty decent points. They're not quite what I was thinking of, but they're all perfectly reasonable. Now, the problem is that this is a leap in logic, because this doesn't work. For one thing, even if the platform was saturated, why would people move on to the next platform? Because 1, an alternative needs to exist. 2, it needs to be less saturated. And the platform becomes saturated because of A, demand, and B, ease of access. Like, let's say that I was producing really high-quality jewelry, and a whole bunch of knockoff jewelry makers tried to copy my product. Okay, that might be a bad thing, but why would somebody... But it's been proven, if somebody is going to buy a copy, if somebody is going to buy a fake of something, they're probably not going to have bought the original to begin with. So just because there's a large number of fake jewelers out there, that doesn't necessarily devalue my product, and it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody that somebody is not going to buy my product. And it's the same with things like VTubers. If there's, for example, a Guagura, if Guagura is streaming and becomes a massive phenomenon, and then you have, say, 100 VTubers who all try and be Guagura, you can call that oversaturated. But how exactly is that going to make a Guagura fan go, oh my, there's so many blue shark VTubers out there. I hate that there are so many blue shark VTubers on YouTube. I think it's time to move on from YouTube as a VTuber platform. No, nobody is going to say that. All that is going to happen is that 99 blue shark VTubers will get maybe 1 or 2 views each, and then they will graduate or just stop streaming, and Guagura is still going to be the #1 shark VTuber in the entire world. That's how that equation works. There being a whole ton of knockoffs and saturation is not going to make people move to a different platform to look for a better Guagura. Guildmage Troy, performers aren't a commodity like PC chips, they're performing artists. That's true, that's true. I mean, I'm not saying that my analogy is perfect, I'm just trying to highlight the issue. Zuli, I mean, look at Twitch and YouTube for how much people hate on it. Yeah, and another problem is that the sheer logistics of it. Oh, Icarus Windrune, can tell you are channeling your inner crush. Also, found that creature in Ember's chat. Thought he was lolly. Guildbench Troy at the same time, there's a lot of butts and not enough seats. Yeah, exactly. Like, VTubing is indeed oversaturated, but it's not... Well, I mean, you can say that there are too many performers for too few viewers, but... Oh, sorry. Mindliness Rex, thankfully there's only one degenerate whale VTuber, only one. Unfortunately, there's a few too many degenerate whale fans. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bash my chair just then. But yeah, I think that I've covered why I think this is kind of a non sequitur argument here. It just does not make any sense. Again, the first 3 points that he makes, I mean, one... I don't really think there's ever been a superstar that represented YouTube or Twitch. I mean, there's the biggest guy in the room, but would I necessarily call him a superstar? I mean, not really. So 2 and 3, undeniable true. 3, 4, this kind of works. This is a non sequitur. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. But anyway, let's get down to the funny part now. I believe this is also true for the VTuber content category. Now you probably looked at this, the transition of the content platforms. Platform formed, big stars born, big agencies born, long... I love how this is just kind of long tail. I mean, I like tails. Let it be known, I'm okay with this. Long tail. New platform. But why haven't I scrolled down yet? Well, we will see, dear viewers. Now, I'll just let you look at this for... Just look. Do you notice anything a little weird about these bullet points? Just a tiny little bit of oddness. Pewd's got the good ending. Guildbench Troy, it's okay. The whale's butt has more fans than the whale's music. A white fox woman said so, and white fox women speak the truth. I wish I didn't have a stuffed up nose this evening. I don't know why I do. But yeah. So platform formed, YouTube and Twitch, okay. Big stars born, Kizuna I, Golgura, Picora, Kuzuha. So we're... Golgura, ladies and gentlemen. I too am a massive fan of Golgura. Big agencies born. Hololive v Shoujo Nijisanji. World's greatest VTuber company indirectly advertises their competition. Yeah. But no, think about it logically for just a second. He's saying big stars are born. Gol Gura and Picora, they were both under agencies. They were under Hololive agency. And I'm pretty sure, is a Kazuha Nijisanji, or is she an independent? Gol Gura streams just about as often as Guagura. But yeah, he's saying here that the big agencies were born after the talents that made them big, because I don't remember an independent Picora who then joined the company Hololive. No, Hololive was there first and wasn't even a VTuber company to begin with. I mean, I think it was... See, I wasn't around for when Hololive actually started, so I don't know if Hololive... Like, was Hololive like an animation company to begin with, and then it transitioned into VTubing? Or did it have, like, a multifaceted approach to it? I think it had a multifaceted approach. But yeah, he's got the cart is very much before the horse here in English parlance. Guildmage Troy, I don't know about Guagura's overnight success, but Senzawa was putting in the work before she mysteriously disappeared. I do apologize, guys. I need to blow my nose yet again. It's all stuffed up. One moment. That's very, very annoying. Then we have the long tail. Independent VTubers, middle, low, and low-tiered agencies. But what, again, is ass backwards because there were indie VTubers right from the start. The first big VTubers were indies, not Hololive or Nijisanji. Now, admittedly, the Hololive and Nijisanji VTubers ended up completely eclipsing the old big indies, but there were plenty of very big indies to begin with. And here we have new platform. AniLive, Irium, Reality, Vstream, and Hyper. I have never in my life heard of Reality, Vstream, or Hyper. I know of Irium, which is pretty much dead. Nobody uses Irium at all. For instance, in Japan's market, where hundreds of people debut as VTubers on YouTube each month, winning has become increasingly difficult. This has led to the rapid growth of V-content specialized streaming apps like Irium, which is a bold-faced lie. Irium is pretty much dead in the water. And again, I have never heard of Reality. Nobody on my forum has heard of Reality. These are not rapidly growing at all. People wanting to pursue VTubing often start their careers on these platforms, gaining experience before trying to join larger agencies. I would like to hear a single example of a currently big VTuber who started out on Irium, Reality, or anything else like that. The first VTuber was a property of Update. Aquatic Invertebrate. The big early VTubers were corporate, just individual text demonstrators rather than entertainment focused. The content changed, not the backing. That's a fair point. That's a reasonable point. I think the EN VTuber market is also at a turning point. Clear winners on platforms like YouTube and Twitch have emerged, where top talents draw the majority of viewership, leaving new entrants struggling to monetize even after 1 or 2 years of streaming. Brands like Hololive and VShoujo have quickly dominated the VTuber space within these existing platforms. Behind their successes, one wonders how many companies have had to withdraw. As the demand to become a VTuber rises, but the agency slots remain limited, where should these aspiring VTubers go? Now, new platforms are emerging to carry the torch forwards. Vstream VStream hosted V4 Mirai's Christmas show last year before it shut down shortly after. The website was entirely unable to handle even a few thousand viewers. Oh dear. Reality has subgroups like Vesper Bell and Live Union V Singers. I have legitimately never heard of Reality in my life. Genuinely, I know of nobody that watches them. I know of nothing to do with any of them, sorry. Nexus bets on this transition, aiming to secure a dominant position on these emerging platforms, elevating stars from our ranks into the mainstream. As the VTuber community and market expand, we believe it's crucial not to be confined by existing platforms, but to create new career paths for talents, serving as a launchpad to propel many to success. Which is, again, complete nonsense, because the VTuber market is not expanding. There are no new frontiers. VTubing has practically become mainstream. There's no longer... Everybody knows what a VTuber is at this point. There's a few language places. There's like the Latin American audience that don't have a huge representation. I think there's not many Korean VTubers and other stuff. It just doesn't work. The VTuber market is not expanding. It is self-cannibalizing. The sustainability of existing VTuber agency models is becoming challenging. As mentioned above, the market is becoming increasingly competitive. While the number of agencies has grown, as you might already know, many have not succeeded, leading to numerous graduations or companies folding. So he's implying the agencies are incompetent or not providing the proper level of... Sorry, I need to adjust my chair. Here we go. Are not providing the level of support their talents need, which I would overall agree with, but as we'll see... the trouble is his conclusions are completely insane. Colin 474. I love how the logic they're pushing is that if you're struggling to get noticed, you should move to proprietary phone apps that nobody uses. Yes, that is a very good way to put it. Thank you, Colin 474. Why is this happening? Simply put, agencies can no longer provide the level of support talents expect. Becoming a VTuber can be achievable with some investment, but to grow as a talent, one must continuously create content that satisfies VTuber fans. I mean, water is wet. The challenge lies in the ever-increasing quality standards for content set by major agencies. Yes, guys, have you looked at Niji Sanji recently? Their ever-increasing quality standards. Can we all agree that in the last year, Niji Sanji has just absolutely broken all barriers and all containment zones when it comes to providing ever-increasing quality standards for content? Oh, I just realized this was Weeb, BitChute, and Rumble. Hey, Rumble is actually quite useful. I like Rumble. Talents join dreaming of achieving such quality, but small and medium enterprises with limited investment can't produce content of that caliber. Meanwhile, fans accustomed to high-quality content find less polished VTubers lacking. I wish to raise Kirsha as a contrast to that. Kirsha's model is literally just a highly adjusted Vroid, and yet she's in like the top 0.005% of streamers on all of Twitch and on YouTube. So yeah, people really don't care if the look of your model is too low. They're here for your content. I mean, look at me. I'm literally using an AI-generated avatar right now on a €200 microphone in an empty wooden shed, and I've got 56 CCV. I am unironically among the most watched streamers on the planet right now. Because, yeah, at 59 CCV, that's that's the level of accomplishment. Because I think that Kirsha actually mentioned in her last stream that there are 9 million streamers or something on Twitch or whatever. So if you have 50 CCV, you are in the top 0.05% of all streamers on Twitch. That's how massive the market is. At least BitChute and Rumble has a search functionality. That's also a good point. Icarus Windrune. I literally watch an Ember who has the worst audio known to mankind. Still watch her because she has logical conclusions, even if I disagree. I literally watch an Ember. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. As a result, the gap between what talents expect from their agencies and what the companies can actually provide widens. Again, this does not really make much sense. Success is not easy. Simply setting up an agency and launching talents without proper planning won't work. This is called a self-report in the business. Therefore, the traditional model of investing all efforts into a few talents and waiting for them to grow on platforms like YouTube or Twitch is becoming unsustainable for companies. Which... This is a complete non sequitur of an argument. It makes no logical sense at all. And we haven't even gotten to his solution, mind you. Based on this analysis, our answers at 4 creators and Nexus are 1. To dominate new platforms, 2. To construct a new agency model, and we'll get to that. Winning on new platforms, due to the reasons mentioned earlier as a company and industry-wide. Building a leading... That grammar is just straight up wrong. Building a leading position on the next big platforms can ultimately provide more value to talents than struggling on the existing battlegrounds. Nexus and AnyLive are both new and launching, and while some may feel uncertain, this collaboration means a lot. We are interdependent. Nexus's success with AnyLive's first talents contributes to AnyLive's success, affecting the value Nexus can offer to talents. And considering that this agency didn't last 1 year, I think the market has decided exactly how much value Nexus can offer to AnyLive. Although independence from each other is healthy for business growth in the long run, their close cooperation during the launch phase is crucial. So he's basically saying, yeah, in the long run we'll stab each other in the back, but for now we'll be partners. That's not something you say on a public website about your professional business partners. I'm not sure if that is a very big revelation or not. I would sincerely hope that it is, and I'm leaning very close to the microphone right now, and I'm whispering so that you understand this is a very serious kind of thing. That it's deep hidden knowledge. You see, I have a very, very close friend in business, right? I have a very, very close friend. He's an economist, and he went through a great deal of training, and he said to me when I asked, yes, it's like the master's level business courses, like, they're nothing. You need a real PhD. You need a real PhD in business. It's only at that point that they finally tell you that it's a bad idea to say that you're going to stab your business partners in the back as soon as it's convenient for you on a public website. That's a very, very deep secret in business, okay? Very, very big. By auditioning in partnership with AnyLive and maintaining close communication, we aim to create new value. This unique opportunity allows talents to grow with a promising platform from the start. Joining Nexus now means having the chance to become one of the first stars on a new platform. In the transition of platforms I discussed above, It's crucial to have a place where emerging talents can succeed. I believe AniLive is that place for VTubers. I'll leave out a detailed explanation of AniLive here, as they will be sharing more about it soon. However, as indicated by their tagline, stream anytime, anywhere. It's a platform aiming for everyone to easily stream as VTubers, build deep community connections, and monetize their content. Streaming from a smartphone app allows for casual, frequent broadcasts, making the talent streams an indispensable part of fans' lives. My past experience at 17 Live, never heard of them, although not a virtual-focused program, showed that successful streamers broadcast almost daily, creating a comforting community from good morning to good night for their fans. And this is where we start to get just a tiny bit sinister. Proctor's gaining female viewers soon. Chat, do you like it? Do you like it when a rather nasally British man gently whispers into the microphone for you? Do you like it when he exposes the evil companies for you, chat? Is that something that really gets you going, chat? Become my digital sharecroppers. I like that one. That's a good tagline. This is why the audition requirements include streaming for 2 hours over 20 days, totaling over 40 hours, suitable for those who can habitually stream daily regardless of their daily schedules. We understand if this streaming style doesn't suit everyone and encourage finding your own path if that's the case. Proctor, you're on stream right now, not in the call with the Janny dog. Oh, he gets the special. He gets the special one. Sorry, just give me 1 second to clear my messages. Why have I swear, oh, it's okay. I didn't realize that Kirsha was streaming as well. God damn it, this fox, this bloody annoying fox. Sometimes I swear. I specifically, gentlemen, I very specifically structure my streams so that my Kamiyoshi will not be live when I am live. And then the first day that I come back from a hiatus to stream, my Kamiyoshi decides that she's going to stream. Of course. That fox needs some correction. That fox desperately needs some correction. James Reed, I'm starting to understand the sweatshop allegations. Yes, this is a really, really insane requirement. 2 hours over 20 days. And they're not asking you, they're not saying, oh, you need to stream 40 hours in a period of 20 days. No. They're saying you need to stream 2 hours every single day, regardless of your daily schedule. Like, you have a job? No, stream instead. You have to visit your dying mother? No, stream instead. Like, no hiatuses, no breaks, no nothing. You have got to stream 2 hours a day for 20 days. And that should be your goal. That's a big ask. I mean, I could probably do that if you wouldn't mind, like, 2 hours a day of gardening streams, okay? If you guys would like me to do a 2-hour gardening stream every single day, I could probably manage that, but, well, weather permitting. Let's continue. But here's the thing, guys. For those that don't know, this is not even the worst red flag yet. This is not the worst red flag. She does it to mess with you, I guess. She's just asking for it at this point. Ow, I burned my tongue. I burned my tongue on some very tasty soup earlier, which is very nice, very nasty. Hello, Denna. Very nice to see you. That sounds nice, actually. I mean, unfortunately, I only get 1 bar of signal up there, and I only have a tablet, so... yeah, I wouldn't be able to stream like that, but The trouble is, again, it would dox me very quickly. I would get doxed within like 5 seconds of doing an actual IRL live stream of a garden, because you'd be able to find the garden very, very, very easily. Our goal with AniLive is to start by habitually streaming frequently to build and monetize a core fan community, gradually expanding our activities to mainstream platforms. Which is like basically just meaningless marketing guff. The vision for the next generation agency. I mean, I will say I'm going to VExpo this year if it's on. I mean, 2025 rather. What about in-house gardening then? Possibly. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to VExpo in 2025, and I might also be going to some other VTuber conventions. Possibly, we'll see. But yeah, I genuinely do not mind if my face gets out there or anything, no problem. The only issue that I really have with the idea of being doxxed is that, again, I live with my parents, so I wouldn't want them involved in any stupid gay ops or whatever that some idiot might try against me. Other than that, I just don't really care. It doesn't matter to me all that much. But even so, it's something that I'm not exactly vaulting, leaping, and diving towards finding acceptable. Audio stream only then. You know, it's... Maybe, you never know. We aim to redefine the role of an agency in the evolving landscape. Recognizing the limitations of traditional agency models, we focus on fostering a competitive and uplifting community. Now here we go, guys. Fostering a competitive and uplifting community. These two things are not really very compatible, as we'll see, but it gets worse. 2, providing unique opportunities accessible only through the agency. That's pretty meaningless guff. Offering flexible support tailored to the talent's growth phases and needs. This is again completely meaningless guff. Building a supportive brand that Three of these points are meaningless. This is absolute basic bottom of the barrel level stuff that you would expect from any agency. There's nothing unique here. The only interesting thing is the fostering a competitive and uplifting community part. That's it. There's nothing else of any interest here. Hello, Dabbing Taco. Nice to see you. Also, you've been part of my stream before, so you've no a reason to ask why you're here. Let me just make sure my... I didn't even notice this part of the bottom here, by the way. Ideal agency model in the new era? Community, not just offer knowledge... Pardon me a second. Not just offer knowledge... Give me 1 second, please. I managed to swallow something the wrong way. So they're not just offering knowledge, but they're offering a community to grow together, which is meaningless. Exclusive opportunity, meaningless. Composability. Offer different package of support based on creators' needs, which is also meaningless. Magdalena's Rex. We must all efficiently operationalize our strategies invest in world-class technology and leverage our core competencies in order to holistically administrate exceptional synergy. Yes, I kind of was choking on my own spit. So this entire section in pink is meaningless. Once again, every single corporation out there will offer you all 4 of these things. Nothing is unique. I'm not even going to... Actually, no. There is a tiny bit here. There's two points of nonsense here. 3, actually. So the first point of nonsense. Similar to high-ranked university. Number 1, that's another ESL moment. It should be similar to a high-ranking university. And then down here, talents have access to knowledge tool. It actually gets worse. The typos get worse as it goes along. I can't believe that. And opportunities depending on what they want to do. Again, this is completely meaningless. But this isn't meaningless. Can gain your friends and rivals with the same goals of career/life. Gentlemen, have you ever... I know my audience is primarily male. Have you ever heard of CyberLive? Have you ever heard of Kawaii? Have you ever heard of Aeon Project? Actually, it's Kawaii Productions. Sorry, and then Aeon Project. What exactly has been the connecting thread between all of those companies behind the scenes? Do you think that having rivals was a good idea in any of those companies? Because we had Kawaii Productions, all of Gen 3 graduated over disagreements with management. And they had that girl, Oshin Otoishi, I think, who was doxing talents behind the scenes. There was the ongoing disaster that is Aeon Project, where multiple talents have been fighting each other very, very publicly for our great entertainment, mind you. Aeon Project is the gift that keeps on giving in terms of disasters. You have talents denouncing each other, arguing over management, and having arguments on public Twitter. And then you have CyberLive, which was a bit before my time, where the ghost of CyberLive lives on forever, and every single person involved in CyberLive seems to have at least 20 different controversies going on simultaneously in all instances of... how... Yeah. Rivals are a bad thing in VTubing. You don't want to have a rival in VTubing, because a rival in VTubing, from all of the evidence that we know from the industry, is someone who will do absolutely everything in their power to destroy your life and your career in the most destructive and humiliating way possible. All VTubers are inherently competing with each other. Like, that's a sad fact of the medium. On some level, they are all in competition because they're all fighting over viewers. They can have friendships, but it's a bit like Jim Medeker said. There are no friends in content creation. Now, I think that is a little bit harsh, but overall, he's right. Don't forget the biggest rivalry, Rusia and Aqua. That's funny. That's funny. Guildmage Troy, he wants to take a bunch of mentally ill women who hate each other and put them in a pressure cooker, is what he's saying. I'm very glad that you're around here to kind of condense the rants that I go on about this. Thank you very much. That is exactly what he is doing. He is taking mentally ill women who already can't stand each other, and now he's saying that they need to form rivalries? Dabbing Taco, Harry is a My Hero Academia enjoyer. He wants a Deku Bakugao dynamic in VTubing. Harry's an autist. I mean, I've seen his photograph. That man is very, very obviously autistic. But let's continue. Successful agencies, not just in the VTuber industry, but across various fields, embody these principles. That is immediately a bad... Oh my god. It's been a very long time since I wrote a lot of these... Since I read a lot of this stuff. Sorry, I don't know why I said wrote. It's just insane. So he wants Nexus to be like Harvard University. Because yes, Harvard University is notorious. All of those graduating classes where the students all hate each other and spend all of their time trying to sabotage each other. That's the Harvard that I remember. That very famous institution that hundreds of years of like bloody battle royales in the student corridors. Those dormitories, at least 5 murders every single semester. It's a comedy. Like, how can you take this seriously? How can you take this nonsense seriously at this point? It just gets worse and worse. Yeah, let me have a sip of water after that rant. Hello, here are you, Kusanagi. I think this is the first time we've chatted. Give me just 1 second to look at the live chat to see what... Oh no, you actually do have a history of saying. Harvard is a battleground, just not in the way that Harry thinks of it. Kenneth Patterson was driving earlier, but Cover was a VR/AR company. Hollow was a marketing project to show off their tracking software. Ah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I love how YouTube's live control panel in OBS and YouTube's live control panel on Brave is showing me 2 massively different concurrent viewer counts. I just love that when that happens. We envision an agency akin to a prestigious university like Harvard. Being part of such a community not only means meeting great peers and rivals. Again, notice how he's mentioned rivals like 3 times by now. This is not coincidental. But also gaining access to exclusive courses, internships, and study abroad opportunities. Now, we will actually get back to those. This model allows for customized lessons and support, enhancing individual and collective credibility through the brand. This is the agency model we at 4Creators strive to realize. To clarify first, Nexus basically operates on a revenue share model similar to many talent agencies. Nexus aims to be a launchpad for many talents. Again, the term academia is used to align Nexus with an ideal agency model, setting different expectations for talents compared to other agencies. Cover accidentally stumbled on $1 billion VTubing idol business. Take that for what you will. The last prestigious elite university to have such rivalries was the United States Military Academy at West Point on the eve of the American Civil War. Yeah. Harvard Prestige, marketed like University of Phoenix. 1 nanosecond, guys. Ow. Sorry, I apologize if my bones are creaking in very odd ways, but yeah, 6 hours of gardening in about 6 degrees Celsius. Yeah, can you hear that? No, I don't think you can. It's not being picked up by the microphone. But yeah, the bones in my fingers are clicking and clacking every time I flex them in very, very weird ways. At Nexus, we provide a comprehensive curriculum, free avatar creation, usable assets to help emerging talents overcome numerous hurdles. Importantly, we are committed to fostering a community that emphasizes mutual support and collective improvement. This approach ensures that every talent can learn, grow, and contribute within a nurturing environment. Oh, does this actually take them to their... Yeah, it does. 1 second. VTuber audition partner with AniLive app. Nexus second wave auditions open now. Oh, yes. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Emphasizing the academia concept allows gathering over 100 talents. So there's a discrepancy here. They said 60 at one point, now they have over 100. So Yeah. The goal is to share best practices and knowledge among senpai and kohai to build a trustworthy brand Nexus talent. We can see that. Punkalopi mentioned purple face, purple cry. Furthermore, the concept of academia within Nexus embodies our desire to respect the autonomy of our talents. Now, I will say this. Saying that you respect the autonomy of our talents is a very good argument. It is a very good way to say we don't give a shit and also we don't have the capacity to control our talents. That is genuinely a pretty good way to spin it, okay? We don't care, but you don't understand. We don't enforce our rules on our talents because we respect their autonomy. Icarus Windrune dying, it's around 21C where I am. Where on earth are you? Unlike traditional agencies that dictate a uniform branding strategy, we encourage talents to independently decide their direction and strategy. In other words, we talent freedom but with more words. Yeah, that's a very good summary of it. They are also free to choose their curriculum and other offerings, allowing for a personalized path that respects their individuality and fosters self-directed growth. Which is a bunch of word salad, which ultimately means we're not going to help you if you join us. It's all on you, chap. Have fun. Now, I hope you can see the reason behind me referring to the anime. Oh my god, you're right. I thought you were joking when you were saying that it was a My Hero Academia thing. He unironically did it. Oh, are you joking? Are you joking? Oh, this man is a clown. He's the gift that keeps on giving. Support tailored to commitment. Please understand that while we provide an environment for talents to autonomously utilize, with sufficient support systems in place, individualized support for each person will be less. While we provide an environment for talents to autonomously utilize... That's complete word salad. That means absolutely nothing. Consider the analogy of universities and high schools. Services aren't equal for all. More diligent students often receive more attention and support from teachers, while those who neglect their studies and attendance might not graduate. While equal opportunities for learning are provided, leveraging them depends on the student's initiative. Similarly, in Nexus, we actively support those who demonstrate a high level of engagement and ambition. You know what? Somebody just said Monado 6, graduate good. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. Graduation in VTubing terms is universally considered a bad thing. He messed up his metaphors here. He really sent the wrong message here. Oh, goodness me. Give me just 1 second to... Do not autoplay. No, we're good. We're good, sorry. I just need to check something quickly. If you want to call it as favoritism, it might be true in some sense. If you want to call it favoritism, it might be true in some sense. Wait, WTF was that again? If you want to call it as favoritism, it might be true in a sense. But please understand that we will do it more systematically. Specifically, we're establishing a system that rewards talents who achieve good results in various Nexus events and competitions. Were there ever actually like staged competitions or events for Nexus? Because as far as I'm aware, there weren't. So if anybody who has actually seriously looked into Nexus more deeply than I have, who knows anything about these so-called events or competitions, please do share it in the chat. Has any such thing like that, did it actually ever happen? The business of talent management involves investing in talent initially and recouping that investment over the medium to long term. Yeah, that says nothing. Joining Nexus means we're investing in you first and foremost. Hence, we wish to work exclusively with those passionate about realizing their dreams. Given the inherent exposure to rankings by subscriber numbers or concurrent viewers after debut anyway, those preferring a competitive, free, leisurely place may not find alignment with a talent agency. Individuals desiring a stable salary or just to follow instructions may not match well with Nexus, and we appreciate thorough consideration to avoid any mismatch in expectations. Denna appeared at one con and gave out the deck of cards. I don't know if that counts. Oh, Guildmage Troy, that's hilarious. We've systematized and gamified the favoritism. Do your dailies if you want to pull 3D before a dead chicken. I remember the dead chicken. Oh, ow. Ow, sorry, my joints are very stiff. Okay, so there is a fascinating amount to unpack here. This will take us a little while. Let's go sentence by sentence. The first sentence here is meaningless. That's just like, teach me how to suck eggs, please, level nonsense. Madlinus Rex. So if you're unambitious, don't join, but what ambitious person would join some shady microcorpo? I mean, in fairness, ambitious people tend to apply to every single corporation. Like, I know plenty of VTubers that every single corporation that advertises, they just automatically apply. So it would not surprise me if quite a few people just applied to Nexus just to see if they could get a response. Because remember, if you're applying to a company, even if you have no intention of actually going through with it, it's a great way to, if you get no response from any corporation, then that's a sign you need to change. And if you do get like into the initial interview, they'll give you feedback on what they liked, what you can improve on, etc. So going out there and applying to every corpo, it's a perfectly valid strategy. It's like you'd never just apply to the one job you want. You apply to every possible job and just hope that you get some response. So there's nothing wrong with that. I disagree with the idea that unambitious people wouldn't want to join something like Nexus. I mean, maybe they wouldn't want to join, but they'd probably still apply. That's what I'm saying. Joining Nexus means we're investing in you first and foremost. Hence, we wish to work exclusively with those passionate about realizing their dreams. Which doesn't sound terrible. Individuals desiring a stable salary or just to follow instructions may not match well with Nexus, and we appreciate thorough consideration to avoid any mismatch in expectations. You know, this is actually very slimy. I don't like this at all because I have spoken to quite a few VTubers who are in or have been in corporations, and they've been kind enough to share their interview experiences with me. Pretty much every single one of them said that what their ambitions, what their plans for the future The whole "where would you like to be in 5 years" kind of thing was very important, was heavily emphasized at every stage of the interviews that they went through, which makes perfect and complete sense. No agency is going to want to hire someone who has no idea what they want to do as a VTuber. That's insanity. So what they did during their hiring process was carefully research the talents to make sure they would have the ambition needed to make it in their corporation. What Harry is doing here is basically saying, yeah, we are not going to give the smallest shit if you come here and you're not suited for us. That's on you. We don't care. We are not going to put in the effort to see if you align with our views. If you take a Nexus contract and then it turns out that you're completely unsuited to it, that's your fault, not ours. Fuck off. Which is, I'm pretty sure you could call this illegal, honestly. I'm fairly certain that if you took a company to a court of law, they would have to prove on some level in good faith that they put out a contract that was where they did their due diligence with their contract. Like, you can't, if you put out an ad for a bar, for a bartender or something, and you said, oh, it's your job to have all the skills. We don't care we're not going to vet your skills. You just only people that have the proper skills show up. And then somebody gets in that position and they don't have any of the skills and they mess up. I'm pretty sure that person could then say, yeah, you didn't tell me what the skills needed were. It's your damn fault. Maybe that wouldn't hold up in court. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But that's something that immediately makes me think that this is pure weird. And I don't like the legal implications of this at all. Like, to me, the employer has a responsibility to make sure the person they're hiring is qualified for the damn job. Creating a new career path for virtual talents. As Nexus, we're focused mainly on our initiatives, but I'd also like to share our broader corporate aspirations. And they use this bloody thing again. Another fucking My Hero Academia reference. Top talent production in the future. Yeah, the future that never happened. We are in the worst timeline, guys. The timeline where Nexus didn't go on to become the next HoloLive, but instead became, well, the next Nexus. Total support for professionals. Only talents with established good God, the entitlement here, guys. You must be this amazing to be in Nexus. Like, Nexus isn't just for plebs, you know? You have got to already be a VTuber of reputable standing. You have to bring an audience to us before we'll consider you for introduction into Nexus. What? Did this guy honestly believe that his terrible little mobile phone app was going to become such a massive thing that talents with established fan bases would be lining up to demand access to it? Icarus Windrune, why? The entire point of a microcorpo is to grow with their talents. I mean, phase invaders happen. Salamandra, how did people even audition after reading this shit? I have no idea. Initially, Nexus will concentrate on establishing a foundation in streaming and building fan communities on simple streaming platforms like AniLive. Starting on YouTube or Twitch can be overwhelmingly complex. I love how they condescend at you. Like, streaming is a very simple hobby, okay? You know how Jimmy Carr has that donkey laugh? You have a yipping hyena laugh, and much to my chagrin, it's infectious. Denner, easy, they don't read. I have 5 square feet of land in Scotland and a certificate that says I'm nobility. Can I join Nexus, right? Fun fact! Fun fact, I actually wrote an ad brief for established titles once for a guy that I worked with. Fun fact, out there on YouTube, you might actually, if you go back to like the dinosaur years of 2016 or so, you might actually hear an ad read by some guy that I wrote for established titles. But yeah, this is insulting. It's deeply insulting to content creators. Oh, it's okay. We understand that, like, hitting, like, opening. Admittedly, only barely serviceable does have a bit of a learning curve to it. But again, you watch one YouTube video and you're good for most things. All right. I did not need a massive amount of experience or skill to stream in the way that I do right now. And it's like upgrading this PNG is basically all that I need to do and getting a few assets. And again, that's one OBS tab each. It's not complicated. Lamau, wasn't that a scam? I don't think you understand what the mentality of the average YouTuber is. YouTubers take every single ad that pays them enough money. They don't give a shit about whether it's a scam or not. That's actually why I stopped doing ad. I could actually make like $20 per ad copy that I wrote, which would be, actually, it would be about this large. Like, this is about 60 seconds worth of text. All I had to do was just take an ad brief and go to some creator and just write them an ad like this, because they outsource the ads too. If a YouTuber does an ad read, if they're a big creator, they didn't write that ad read themselves. They had somebody else write it for them. I did that for a little while, and yeah, I could get $20 for writing something this long. It would take me like 10 minutes at most. Very easy job, and I enjoyed it for a little bit. And that was before I understood that the creators that I worked with did not give a single shit about the kind of thing they were given. I remember Raid Shadow Legends. I don't like Raid Shadow Legends, but I know that it pays a massive amount of money. But I really did not like working with anything to do with Raid, because I was like, I don't support a gambling company, because like I'm a Christian. I don't believe in gambling. And I said to multiple people, look, I don't think this is a good look for your community. Like, you have a brand. Like, even then I saw there were creators out there who had a brand that was like, they'd be a history channel, for example, and they'd be like, I create my history. I'm very careful with all of my sources. I read the original books. Here's an ad for established titles, a very obvious scam. People look at that and they go, maybe I don't believe you if you say that you do all the research and your videos are factually accurate. And I tried to tell them, maybe you should consider the fact that you are basically sabotaging your audience confidence by taking these obviously bad advertisements. And they were like, but they pay me money. And that was where the thought process ended. I tried multiple times to say, just don't do... You should really look at your ads and only partner with advertisers that actually provide content to people. But they were like, why? Why? Why would they do that? Why would I do that? They pay me money. And that revelation that so many content creators just had that attitude towards ad reads, that made me stop watching a lot of people. There are YouTube channels today that I refuse to watch because I know that behind the scenes they are totally bankrupt in terms of morals and ethics. And they sell themselves as, we do careful, extensive research with industry professionals to provide you with the best content possible. And it's a load of shit. It's a load of advertising shit. They don't believe a single thing they say. Yeah. It Icarus Windrune, specifically with YouTube being so trigger happy with demonetizing videos and running ads anyways. Kirsha confirming such. I mean, I'm okay with Kirsha taking a sponsorship from Raid Shadow Legends. Again, in a perfect world, I would prefer it if Kirsha didn't take a Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. But the fact that they pay her an enormous amount of money, the fact that she says to her audience very blatantly, without any ambiguity, this game is pay to win. This game is gambling. I don't want you to become gambling addicts. This is a way that I can get a lot of money very quickly, and you don't have to do anything but play a shitty mobile game for a few days. And you get me like $10,000 minimum at her size, probably more. I'm okay with that, because in my opinion, in the long run, she probably costs Raid Shadow Legends more money than she gains them with that attitude. And she's honest about it. Again, perfect world, I'd prefer she didn't take them at all, but, you know, this is an acceptable compromise. But there's plenty of other creators out there that don't care about that at all. I'm like, no, I guarantee you, this is a great product. I promise you, I use this product all the time. Look, I use this product to help me create this video. That's how good it is. This product is a trusted brand that I really love and I use every day. Fuck off, you don't. Stop lying to that's just blatant lying to your audience. I know guys out there who have gone on stream and said that, and I know the people they have paid money to play the games for them or use the apps for them to capture footage that they have then used in that video and claimed disingenuously is real footage of them playing the game or using the app that they're shilling. And that is where I draw the line. I'm sorry. If you're willing to do that, you lose my support forever because you are a disingenuous piece of shit. Ad money is their god after all. I do agree. Salamandra, there's people advertising BetterHelp again. Okay, anyway, where was I? Yeah. Sorry for that, sorry for that long tangent. Yeah, I cannot stand false advertising after all. Like, again, as a Christian, I believe honesty is incredibly important. Satan is the father of the lie, after all. And so I believe that if you lie intentionally to someone, you are quite literally channeling the essence of lies. The father of the lie is speaking in your voice, basically. And, yeah, I would really rather not have the tempter of Adam and Eve speaking in my voice. Thank you very much. Let's continue. As talents progress through our curriculum, we'll guide them towards diversifying their revenue streams and expanding their presence across multiple platforms, ensuring they receive support as their careers develop. And again, I would like to know if there was ever any kind of curriculum, quote-unquote. Talent support needs... This is bad grammar. I mean, it's technically not wrong, but it's kind of bad. Talent support needs evolve as they establish their foundation. This can range from marketing to merchandising and even tax. I mean, in fairness, okay, if Nexus genuinely did handle people's taxes and handle them properly, unlike Selen and Niji Sanji, fair play to them. I will genuinely give, if this, again, I'm going to steel man Harry for a second and say that Harry is being honest here and he would be willing to actually handle somebody's taxes. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily trust him considering I think he's an idiot, but if that was something you wanted to do, okay, that's fine. That's good. When talents reach this craze, and they would be crazy if they were in Nexus, we, as 4 creators, envision setting up a distinct agency tailored to meet these advanced needs. Good grief, the copium. The journey from emerging talent-friendly platforms like AniLive to mainstream success is beginning worldwide. Oh, yeah. It's really begun. It has seriously begun. Denna, no, they did not have good financial handling. I am not surprised in the slightest. We aim to adapt our support to meet the growth phases of talents, ensuring they always feel adequately supported and never lack in benefits. We're committed to providing our all to ensure talent success and satisfaction. Which totally and completely contradicts what they've set up here. Okay, these two sentences do not match at all. You cannot say, we're committed to providing our all to ensure talent success and satisfaction, and right up here says, we support only those who demonstrate a high level of engagement and ambition. Those two sentences contradict each other completely. Is there any point to this? Nope. So I think we can finally move on, actually. Launching Nexus. Good grief, this website loads like crap. My god, they keep using this. They keep using this nonsense. I just can't believe this. I actually really like that design. Is this girl still streaming? Because this design is really nice. This one with the cat ears. Give me just one section, please. So I think the most important part here is the moving forward bit, where it says, to nurture over 10 talents is already a significant challenge, but our ambition at Nexus is to become a launchpad for 100 and eventually over 1,000 talents to realize their dreams. Our immediate focus is to ensure the growth of our current and soon-to-be talents from upcoming auditions. Their various attempts will serve as knowledge for future talents and set them as role models. While there's no universal formula for success, we aim to create an environment that strengthens basic skills while allowing for individuality. The discussion around talent management is evolving, and at Nexus, we believe in advancing the traditional methods to foster a supportive relationship between the company and the talents. Someone get out the spray bottle again. Gilbench Troy, I started my VTuber Corpo with Squarespace. Squarespace lets you build a website to recruit men. You know, unironically, if Squarespace, if I ever got big enough to have a Squarespace ad, and Squarespace reached out to me, I would unironically use that as a as an option. And then there's a guy on YouTube called Spirit of the Law, who he does Age of Empires. He is an Age of Empires content creator, and he takes Squarespace ads all the time. His Squarespace ads are genuinely quite fun, and I enjoy sitting through them, because he always comes up with a new idea and a new, like, funny concept with each one, and he's a really creative guy. His ads are genuinely quite enjoyable. So, again, I do think that it's possible to shill products and be funny and entertaining at the same time, which is good. So yeah, I would take a Squarespace ad in a heartbeat, because Squarespace at the very least has a functionality. It's not a scam product, okay? Something like established titles, Raid Shadow Legends, you could argue those are scams. I mean, Raid is not necessarily a scam. It is a game, it has gameplay, but it's a Skinner box to get you to spend money, which I honestly would count as pretty much a scam in most ways. Anyway, let's get on to the tabs. My nose is unfortunately getting very stuffed up, which is incredibly irritating. I really hope that I haven't caught anything. Give me a moment. I apologize for torturing you all with dark mode for that long, but I think that it's also interesting to go into leadership and connections here, which, again, someone on my forum has very kindly compiled for us. This is Harry, who is the Nexus CEO, and this is his LinkedIn, which I will just, yep, there we go. I will look at that in a second. From the Nexus website, he was born to a Japanese and Taiwanese family in 1995. Holy crap, he's younger than me. And raised in Japan. Graduated from the University of Tokyo with a degree in economics. I should really get my friend Alex to join this stream at some point and have a talk about economics again, because that would be a fun stream. I don't really like that, me talking to a very jaded economist about what's wrong with economics in current year. That would be a fun stream. I'd enjoy that. Began a career at 17 Live, one of Asia's largest live streaming platforms, playing a pivotal role in leading the global CEO office. Post-independence, developed a community app and a web game and provided marketing support to multiple companies, culminating in the founding of 4Creators Pte. Limited. He has a degree in economics and he's a trash. Yes, he is. Nexus as a business model makes zero sense. Absolutely zero sense. So I don't understand how someone with a degree in economics would ever think that Nexus is a good idea. Let's go over to his LinkedIn now. So yeah, as you can see, that's Takumi Innovators. That's Meta PS. Anything to do with Facebook? Sorry, just dropped something. Sorry, I'm fiddling around with something while I'm talking. Associate Director of CEO Office. BCG Marketing Manager. So, he has professional experience. Growth lead another ball. Izumo. Let me just actually Google this thing. Give me 1 second. Another ball. Create mutual understanding beyond boundaries. Okay, this is interesting. It's not dead, I don't think. What the hell? So there's literally nothing about... I vaguely remember reading about this a long time ago. Is this like some kind of subsidiary of AniLive, or because they have AniLive branding? Sorry, I'm not showing this on stream in a second. He lied about all of this, but no one bothered to fact check him. Can you explain a little bit more? I'm not sure what you're exactly saying. Krigalo Bunsen. Ugh. Did he just fall upwards because Japanese corporations don't work like this man's work history? This is what an American or Brit would do. Yeah, it's weird. University of Melbourne, University of Tokyo, National Taiwan University. He's an interesting guy, put it that way. See, I want to make it clear. At some point, I would genuinely like to do a deep dive on Nexus and AniLive. I might actually ask... Armchair Expert to work with me on that, because I think that would be pretty cool. If we had like a joint project to dig into Nexus now that it's dead, because it is a fascinating topic. The parent company of Nexus, 4Creators Limited, was incorporated in Singapore. Can everybody see that, by the way? Yeah, they can. Was incorporated in Singapore on the 17th of October 2023. On the 14th of December 2023, they announced the completion of their angel round funding, claiming that they raised funds from 9 investors and that these included early investors into Any Color and Cover. This claim may actually be true, as Harry has a surprising, i.e. non-zero, number of professional connections to historic Japanese corpos. His Twitter account is followed by Yagoo, who I hopefully don't need to explain. Then we have Captain. The current CEO of AniLive was the CEO of Prism Project prior to its acquisition and dissolution by Sony. The Nexus website name drops Irium and Reality. two failed JP's VTuber streaming apps. Some EREM refugees have since found some success as artists, riggers, or VTubers for other corpos. EREM itself was owned by Zizai, which used to manage Mirai Akari. He previously worked for Izumo and talked about Alias, their AI VTuber project. Izumo, in turn, currently manages Anilive. Harry also had opinions about the collapse of Wactor and Niji En drama earlier this year, which he tweeted in Japanese. Even linking a depressed Nosagi video. Oh yes, I vaguely remember this. Let's look at this. Give me a second. There's a high chance that he's involved with the development of Alias. This is the translation. I joined Izumo last month. I think I'm a creator who has thought a lot about creator economy. But when I first heard about the idea from Mr. Oyo, it sounded so interesting that I couldn't stop smiling and joined immediately. Not only the cute Alias, but also PJ is planning to do something huge in this area with the highest perspective in the world, so keep your eyes peeled. And does anybody recognize this guy by any chance? He's our favorite person of melanation. So I need another drink. This guy, even Ito, tends to pop up in the most hilarious places. I'm still not 100% certain I saw him at V-Expo. If he tweeted that he was at V-Expo, I think I did see him, but the trouble is that it was Birmingham, so there was an awful lot of black people wandering around, and it's quite hard to tell them apart. Especially if I've only ever seen him in like blurry photographs before. His comments on Wactor and the Kuro En implosion. Looking at Niji-Sanji En situation, do you see it as an opportunity or as a threat? Either way, the era of the EN VTuber market is about to change. The guy who kept getting felted by Nux in a Mogus. Are you saying they all look the same? Look, the AI agrees they all look the same, so it's not just me. Proctor, all black people look the same. I mean, there's ways to tell them apart, put it that way, but well, let's not go into that. I don't feel like being cancelled today. Actually, I don't care. I don't give a I don't give a damn if I'm cancelled. There have been too many cases of companies from Japan challenging the global VTuber market that have gone down in flames due to poor talent management. We need to realize and unlearn the fact that Japanese talent management methods are not the global standard, but rather an anomaly. And as he literally tweeted out a depressed Nosagi video, which is just like... Sometimes this guy was born in 1995, so he is like 2 or 3 years younger than I am. I think that events like this remind you that VTubing as a medium is so young that it can't legally drink. Streaming as a medium is so young that it can't legally drink yet. Proctor, you're already trying to be cancelled? Yeah, I know, I don't care. Who would care about being cancelled? Seriously, it's words on the internet. Grow a spine. Most of these people are actually younger than I am. And they are faffing around with hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think Depressed Nosagi actually said that he's had companies come to him before to ask him for advice on how to handle their companies. And he also managed to get like a... He managed to get an all-expenses-paid trip to China by Noah Talent. So yeah, it's... VTubing as an industry, as streaming as an industry... is still so young, and it's still so stumbling around on baby legs. And I think instances like this absolutely do prove that. But my nose is now actually so incredibly blocked up. You can probably actually hear it. My nose is so incredibly nasally. Proctor is uncancelable. I mean, I'm just completely honest about who I am. I don't care. Ugh. Yeah, my nose is so blocked up, I don't think I can really continue for very much longer. I can only give it another, like, 15 minutes or so, because my nose is actually getting quite painful now. But I thought I'd just scroll back to... Yeah, this is actually quite funny. This was October the 15th, as Cubano Dunn points out here. 16 more talents, which very much confuses me. Nexus closed down a few days ago. As late as October 15th, they were ready to release 16 whole new talents. Now, where is the graduation? Yes, here. So this was Monday. So January the 31st. And I'll just read this off. I think this is a reasonable way to cap off things. I apologize for the white screen again. Nexus official closure announcement to our valued supporters, talents, and community. It is with a heavy heart that we announce... Sorry, actually, let me just open this in a new tab so you can actually see the damn text. Nexus will officially cease operations as of January the 31st, 2025. Nexus was created with a mission to provide a platform where aspiring VTubers could develop their careers, realize their dreams, and thrive. We are an academy and community that empowers VTubers to thrive in their careers while providing a nurturing place to call home. In a short space of time, we've had the privilege of supporting and debuting a wide variety of incredible talents who have amazed us with their dedication, creativity, and hard work. This achievement is something we hold dearly and will remain proud of as we transition to our next chapter. However, despite our best efforts to explore new strategies and create opportunities within this industry, we recognize that we are unable to achieve the sustainable model we envisioned. This decision was not made lightly, and to everyone who believed in us and supported this journey, we deeply apologize for not being able to meet with our expectations in the long term. Guildmage Troy, VTubing is like a 19th century gold rush. Some people will strike gold on the frontier, but the most reliable way to make money is to sell hardtack and pickaxes. Yeah, if you want to make money as a VTuber right now, forget VTubing, become a rigger. Just start rigging. If you can't draw models, become a rigger, because you can make good money, especially if you're in a low tax and in a country where you could charge Western prices, but you live on a much lower budget than First Worlders. Pardon me. Proctor can't be cancelled. He's part of... You disgust me, Dabbing Taco. I'm viscerally disgusted by you right now. Now, I thought that this closure announcement was very interesting because... have you noticed how their branding, they no longer mention in any capacity how the whole rivalry aspect, they drop the VTuber Academia branding entirely in this announcement. What comes next for our talents? Our top priority is ensuring that every talent continues to shine beyond Nexus. We offer the option to all of the talents to retain the IP rights to their avatars and take ownership of their accounts, enabling them to continue their activities as independent VTubers. We are committed to providing full support during this transition, ensuring a seamless handover of assets and accounts. In the coming weeks, we'll collaborate closely with each talent to discuss their future plans and assist them in preparing for their next steps. Yeah, because it was stupid and autistic. Well, I mean, I'm glad they seem to realize that. Nexus was born from a belief that we could build a platform where more VTubers could succeed. In an industry where many agencies struggle, we aimed to take bold steps to explore uncharted strategies to create opportunities for talents. While those efforts didn't bear fruit as we hoped, I am immensely proud of our team and what we accomplished together in such a short time. To our talents and fans, I want to express our deepest apologies for not being able to fulfill the long-term vision many of you believed in. However, I am truly grateful for your trust, support, and belief in this journey. Watching our talents grow and seeing the incredible community that formed around them has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Though Nexus Academy will close, my passion for this industry remains unwavering. I am committed to finding new ways to support creators and build something meaningful in the future. As we approach our final weeks, I encourage everyone to celebrate the incredible moments we've shared with our talents. This is not the end of their journeys. It's the beginning of new chapters for each of them. Thank you for everything, Harry, founder of Nexus. Guildmage Troy, what comes next for our talents? Unemployment. I completely agree. Now, the good part of all this is that if you just go through the Nexus threads, a lot of the Nexus people... So move to C, dude. No, I'm not getting into it. I'm really not getting into it. But put it this way, I hate the UK with all of my heart and soul, and I see absolutely nowhere in the EU. I see no future in the EU whatsoever. If you live in an EU country, good luck. Good luck. The second my circumstances allow me, I am leaving the EU. I am going to America, or maybe I'm going to some, I don't know, hell, maybe I'll go to Argentina, Malaysia, anywhere but the EU. I am not staying in the EU for my working adult life, trust me. Unfortunately, the execution only got as far as build a platform where more VTubers. And the thing is, AniLive as an app is terrible. Pardon me. Pardon me, I do apologize. I hope that didn't come across the microphone. AniLive as an app was terrible. The overwhelming majority of success that the talents got was from restreams on Twitch and YouTube, or it was from them immediately transitioning to either Twitch or YouTube as soon as possible. Armored Glass Callan, I suggest you live in Texas. I wouldn't mind living in Texas. I'd love to live in New England, but, yeah, there's reasons I'd love to live in New England, but, I mean, I'm not going to because, yeah, I don't think I can afford somewhere in New England. I suggest you... I already read that. But yeah, at the end of the day, Nexus... Somebody on the forum... I changed the title of this video because... Somebody on the forum complained that saying that Nexus was the worst VTuber company of 2024 was a bad thing. And I understand what he was saying. But I do sincerely believe that Nexus is the worst VTuber company of 2014. Of 2024. Why did I say 2014? Sorry. There's two big reasons why you want to be in New England. Yes. Two big reasons, definitely. What was I going to say? Yeah, the reason I think that Nexus is unambiguously the worst company of 2024 is quite simple. It lived and died in 2024. It put out over 60, I believe there's more than 60 VTubers. So they put out, as we calculated earlier in the stream, at bare minimum, they spent $80,000 on all of those talents. Absolute bare minimum bottom of the barrel. Do you mean the worst as in the worst model or the worst ran? Worst model. Let me clarify that. Nexus was so bad, it went back in time and was still bad. The fact that Harry is supposedly a professional economist and has past experience as a marketer, the fact that he would think for even a second that a business model like Nexus could be successful in any capacity is insane. I would not trust this man to run a lemonade stand. I think it is completely demented that anyone ever thought this would be successful. Now, let me make it clear. Let me make it very clear. I do not blame a single talent for joining Nexus. And I in fact think that a fairly large proportion of the VTubers that are in Nexus looked at Nexus and they thought, this is an opportunity. And I think for a fair number of them, it was indeed an opportunity. And they walked away from it with an IP, which is good. As I said right at the start of the stream, if I had the grand power of foresight to see the collapse of so many small corporations that resulted in talents being able to walk away with their IP in 2024, I would have applied to Nexus simply for the purpose of getting a free model and IP. I would have gritted my teeth and stuck it out, waited for the company to die, and then asked for my IP. And I think that would be a sensible user-end decision. In fact, I would say that if a VTuber wants to go to a company and they know that it's a bad idea, but they know that they'll get a free model out of it, I can't even blame them. If they still focus on being a good VTuber and cultivating an audience under a bad company, just waiting for it to die so they can get the IP, I don't blame them. That's not a bad business decision. Gilmates Troy, he can run a lemonade stand in Chicago because he'll get arrested for running a business without a license like so many children have. That's so pathetically sad, honestly. Dabbing Taco, Nexus isn't the worst. It's a bad business move, but it's not the worst. Hell, Harry isn't even malicious. Again, the problem is that worst is a very subjective term. I genuinely still do believe that it's the worst agency, simply because of how badly it was run and what a terrible business model it started out with. Because at the very least, Aeon Project, Kawaii Productions, maybe not V Reverie, because V Reverie is a terrible company again. V Reverie is abysmally, astonishingly bad in so many ways. But again, I sadly can't talk about that. But yeah, if you thought that V Reverie was bad, it was worse, much worse. But yeah, all of those at least had some level of understanding of what a traditional VTuber business model would look like. What Harry did was look at the VTuber model of business, and then he sat down and he did genuine market research. Like, his analysis of why the industry is in a bad spot right now is not wrong. It's pretty basic, but it's not wrong. Krigalo, it's the worst because the people at the top supposedly have the pedigree to know better and they failed everyone predictably. Yes, I agree. That is a very good way to put it. I agree with that assessment completely. But yeah, Harry sat down and he did genuine market research. Nexus did not emerge overnight. He put serious effort and dedication into this. And yet, despite all of that dedication and effort, he managed to create a business plan that was not just bad, it was antithetical to the concept of a successful agency. He decided that talents should be adversarial with each other. He decided that he was not going to take the time to properly vet talents to see if they would integrate properly with his agency. He decided all of those things, and all of those things are antithetical to success in VTubing. Pardon me. And I really, really do think that is why he's the worst guy, the worst one in all of 2024. Not the worst company ever, mind you. I think that Wactor overall, people say that Wactor is the worst company, but the thing is, again, Nexus lived and died in 2024. Wactor would probably still be pretty high up there in terms of worst company ever. Pardon me, sorry, I'm just having the last bit of my water and also looking at something quickly. Can I actually... I think I can, yeah. Oh, that's funny. It actually worked. Excellent. Kenneth Patterson, people with the right degrees and pedigrees created the modern economic condition, and it's a mess. Just one with way more money propping it up. Yeah, that's a good estimation, a good analysis. I think it's tragic. And I think that after this, I would be very interested in doing some kind of actual long-form video about Nexus. I wanted to do a long-form video about Aeon Project. But the problem is, Aeon Project is very raw. There's a lot of bad blood between talents, and it's an ongoing thing. I don't feel comfortable doing an analysis video of Aeon Project, because that's a bloody, vicious scrum pit. And there's a horrible amount of emotion. People were obviously very severely damaged by their experience in Aeon Project. So I don't feel comfortable. I genuinely did have plans to do a long-form video on Aeon Project, but I don't want to. I don't consider myself a drama tuber. I don't want to make content that is at the expense of who I consider to be, well, maybe not innocent people in the case of a certain weed head of that particular company. But I don't want to bring stigma upon the people that just put their heads down, tried to do things properly, and then were burned for it. Whereas Nexus, the talents in Nexus are not the story. No offense to them. They're normal, everyday talents and streamers. It's the company and the core behind Nexus that is worthy of analysis. So I think that if I looked into Nexus, I wouldn't be harming anybody. I wouldn't be bringing reproof on anybody. What's a weed head? I should have said pothead, sorry. So yeah, I think I will hit up Armchair Expert. I know that Rima Evenstar did something with Nexus as well. I might talk to her. I think all the bones are there for a good analysis video on Nexus, which I think I will definitely, at the very least, look into and build a framework around to see if it's even plausible. I'm sorry, guys. My throat is starting to hurt, and my nose is very much blocked up. I'm sorry. Muffy Graves, as someone who visited Quebec, found bins for used needles in every single public restroom, even the airports. That said, countryside was nice. Yeah, Canada is not a good place. But anyway, guys, given my current state, I'm not going to continue streaming. I think we pretty much covered the basics of things, and I would like to continue. I've outlined my plans. At the end of December, I am going to be doing a retrospective of the year stream where I just go over everything and outline our plans for 2025, which I would be very interested in. I have also set up a raid because, as far as I'm aware, let me just look at mine to make sure that she's not... How long has she been online for? Has she just stopped streaming right now? I swear if she stops streaming right now, I'll be very irritated. Oh no, she is live. Good. I've set up a redirect, so we will be raiding Dizzy of Phase Connect because Dizzy is currently live, and she is one of the the Phase Connect talents that has acknowledged the website in some way. So I feel that I owe her a raid. Okay. Plus, Dizzy is a great person to raid, I feel. So yes, when I hit end stream. Then you will all be redirected to Dizzy Dokuro's channel. If she doesn't turn off redirects after this, I will assume that it's okay to continue raiding her. A mentally ill woman raid. Yes, the asylum is coming for the mentally ill woman. Not literally, please. Although, I mean, look at her model. So yes, guys, I am going to call it a night here. I'm going to go away, and I'm going to probably snort something for my nose. Not cocaine, although, you know, maybe. If you ever do come to Canada, come to Alberta and see the mountains. Fishman's going to shit himself. I mean, it's just a raider. It's just a raid. It doesn't matter. She has had worse raids, most definitely. I mean, didn't freaking... Rakita raid Pipper a couple of times, and you know it's Rakita, so yeah. Anyway, please be nice to Dizzy. She is a very lovely woman, and she has many great assets and huge tracts of land. I will see you all I will see you all next time. And basically, no set date for the next stream, but I mean, it'll be a Monday or Wednesday sometime. Basically, when Kirsha isn't streaming, pretty much. So good night for now, and please be nice in Dizzy's chat. Please not do stupid things that will get you banned, because if you get banned in her chat for saying something retarded, I will also ban you from mine, because we are nice people, okay? We're beating the allegations. We're beating the notorious allegations against the virtual asylum. Thank you, guys. We are a perfectly normal internet forum. Good night, anyone. Goodbye. End now. Good night, everybody. Have fun.